Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to another live. As you may know, every Thursday I'm here featuring another clinician of color, making sure that you know that we are out here and we are doing our thing. And so today I have the awesome Cody Motivation. And so Cody, can you please let the people know who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about your expertise?
Well, who I am. Let's see. I guess we can start with titles. I'm an entrepreneur, speaker. I'm an author of the book Passport to Life, Journey to a Positive Mindset.
Yeah.
And I'm also a licensed professional counselor. I'm from Miami, Florida, born and raised. I actually spent some time in Gainesville, Florida, 4 years, my high school career. So I guess you can't say born and raised.
No.
But I mean, a little bit about my expertise. I'm a motivator, hence the name, Coty Motivation. I'm just inspired by life, just the adversity that I've been throughout life, constantly, consistently, throughout every stage and level of my life. I've had to overcome, consistent obstacles, and, it just built the person that I am today. So in a nutshell, that's who I am.
Love it, love it. Hey, Ashley, thank you so much for that. So today we're going to talk about adversity, how to overcome adversity, how to cope with it. And like we talked about previously before, we are really huge about taking larger concepts and making sure that our communities are able to understand them and to be able to relate to them. And, a lot of South Florida love, even though, you're from Dade County, Broward County is straight in the building. And I appreciate that. But how do you take your story and your narrative and intertwine it within your therapeutic rapport? That way you can help get your client to their ideal state.
I mean, I do it a lot because my story is that it needs to be a movie, first of all. But I relate a lot. I work a lot with youth and adults, right? But I'm very relatable when it comes to the young men, young African-American men, because I'm absolutely relatable to them because I've been in their shoes before. And who's better to teach somebody than somebody that has actually experienced whatever it is that they're going through. And I've been through so much that whatever the situation is, it just depends on the situation. But I tell the story because that's the way you connect with people. You tell your story. And my story, like I said in the beginning, is that of overcoming adversity. I'm a kid. I'm from Miami. You know what I'm saying? I got my first encounter with the law. However you want to, think about that, when I was 11 years old. Then you go from 11 years old going into the 6th grade. I was actually locked up at 11 years old. So then you meet a young kid that, was in trouble like that at 11 years old. Then I went to the 6th grade. I got kicked out of middle school for doing whatever I did. Just basically I got into it with a teacher, put my hands on a teacher. And then, 7th grade, I was on trial for some stuff that I didn't even do. But my life was really like, it was spiraling out of control, and it was only one way to go. And once I realized that, at a certain point of life, I gave up mentally because just my surroundings and certain things that I was going through. So at a certain point from that stage, I understood that it was only one way to go, and that's up. So what's the worst that could happen if I was to be successful? So that was the guiding light that took me, to the places that I needed to go, and I'm here now.
Definitely. I love that line. There's only one way to go but up. And I know part of that is helping clients understand their strengths. And even when we're talking about understanding your strengths, but identifying the weaknesses too and how that comes into play, right? And doubling down on not only the strengths, but whatever resources are available. Understandably, when we're talking about adversity, I think oftentimes when we are in the thick of things, we tend to forget all of those innate characteristics or our natural support or even the individuals who are right there by our side. And so can you speak to that a little bit? How do you help individuals create like a map or just even develop their own toolkit? Or what are some tools that you help put in their own toolkit?
I mean, the first thing I say is goal setting, but just to kind of, to your point when you mentioned about, just ignoring your resources and things around you, because most of us as human, we oftentimes reactive versus proactive. And most of the time when we react, it's too late or it's almost too late. So I try to teach people to set goals. That's the main thing. As simple as it may sound, a lot of people don't understand how to set effective goals. And they'll set a goal that's not realistic or not smart, and they can't get to the actual goal that they set. So now they're stuck in the same place, mind cluttered. They can't, gain any clarity, all because they don't know how to actually set a goal. And when I talk about setting goals, it's not just a goal like I want to be rich or I want to have a business, I want to do this. It's goals like when you're in a dark place, and I'm speaking on depression at this point. When you're in a dark place, it's hard to figure out what's happening right now. Like you can't see in front of you. So if somebody's there to actually teach you how to set an effective goal, right? The steps, step by step, how to set an actual effective goal. What's your life missions? What's the reason you wake up in the morning? Like what's your purpose? What's your passion? You got to figure out all these things and what it is that you want in life. How do you dig yourself out of that darkness? Because, outside of darkness comes light, right? So How do you dig yourself out of that? You got to actually have a plan. And, as therapists, we understand, you set a goal, objective, and interventions, in which I call action. So you got the goals, objectives, and the action that's going to allow you to reach that goal. So I'm heavy on goal setting because oftentimes we don't set goals and we continue to be stuck in the same place that we were when we had the plan in the first place. So goal setting, that's the most important piece of life.
Definitely. Yeah. A huge part of goal setting is having that ability to trust yourself. I think oftentimes encouraging the client to recognize their strengths, a huge part of it is allowing them to know that, hey, these strengths have gotten you here thus far. Mm-hmm. And I love that little aha moment where you're like, damn, you're right. Like I survived this long. I'm 28 or maybe I'm 30 or 40 or whatever like that. It might not have been the healthiest thing, but how can I take this situation and spin it to my advantage?
Right. Absolutely. The thing about life is we can't wing it. Like most of us, we live life, we just wing it. We just wake up, brush our teeth, put on our clothes and go to work, come back home and do the same thing all over again. But, what happens when that stops? Like what happened when that routine that you created with yourself stops? Then what else? What's next? Like what's the next steps as it is to life? You know what I'm saying? So we can't wing life. We actually have to plan life. We got to be aware. Self-awareness is very important. Very important. I mean, internally and externally is very important because if you're not self-aware internally, you don't know how to control yourself, all right? Obviously, you can't control the things that are around you, but you can control you. So you got to control the things that you can control. And that starts with self-awareness, internally and externally,
Definitely. I work in the substance abuse population, and oftentimes we use this saying, like, see it all the way through, or just like play the tape all the way through. So when we are at a place of trying to make a decision, how can this decision impact you not only just now within the next 2 to 3 months, but for the rest of your life? And how does it also impact the people that are connected to the situation? I'm really huge on choice theory, right? So we're making choices every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every week, etc. And it empowers the client to recognize that no matter what is presented in front of you, you are still making a choice. Yes, you may be mandated here. Yes, you may have to be here in treatment, but you getting up and coming to group is still a choice. You sitting down and doing this intervention or having this one-on-one with me, it's still a choice. And I think a lot of individuals kind of operate as if life is happening to them. Yes, circumstances come and they go, but ultimately we still have the power to navigate through these situations.
I mean, it's a natural emotion to feel like life is happening to you, especially when you're speaking of, Black America. We put in a position from the beginning of time that we got to dig ourselves out of a hole, and it's only natural to feel like life is happening to you. But then, what do you think after that? After you feel like life is happening to you, okay, now you gotta really think. Now you gotta really evaluate what's going on. Who are you, and where are you going? Yeah. Because regardless of the circumstances around you, that's gonna happen. It ain't gonna stop. But how are you gonna handle it? How are you gonna get to the next level? Because success is in the mind. It's not in the environment.
Definitely. Yeah. Y'all heard that bar? Success is in the mind, not in the environment. I hope y'all are dropping that gem, okay? I saw a couple of hearts in the corner. Yes.
Right.
Oh, that's a bar. For real, for real. Oh, my goodness. So, please let the people know a little bit about your foundation. I love the foundation, My Brother's Keeper, and the work that you're doing within the community. Can you talk a little bit about that as well?
So, with the MBK Foundation, I started the MBK Foundation years ago. Actually, MBK stands for My Brother's Keeper, and I actually started my foundation before Obama came out with that initiative. When he came out, it kind of ruffled some feathers, but I started actually working with some youth in the school system. So I began that, started a mentorship program, and that went well. Then I took some time off, and then when I came back, I did a little bit different, and I partnered with the YMCA, and I was working with a group there, and I actually working with a group of, I started with 10 boys, ended up with 8, and we actually completed the book. So those boys are not authors, and the book is called The Path to Your Throne. And actually 3 of those boys actually graduated. So, we just kind of, keeping up with those guys on their journey and supporting them, giving them the support that they need, looking out for them, getting the tools that they need to be successful in life. Like I said, success is in the mind. It's not in the environment. So I got to, show them, first of all, lead by example. That's number one. But I'm giving them, certain a level of mentorship and guidance to help prepare them for life, outside of what they are. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I love the fact that you talked about modeling, because oftentimes as clinicians, we have to model that behavior that we want or would like our clients to manifest. So I like how you're able to take that coaching perspective and apply it to the therapeutic rapport right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because these are some young kings, man, and I was once in their shoes, and I'm going to tell you, I was almost out of here. I'm going to just be real with you. And I've choices. You mentioned choices. And I made a lot of bad choices throughout my life, but it's like, how do you make all the right choices when you misguided your whole life? You understand what I'm saying? And see, people that don't come from that environment can't help support those kids that were in that environment. You understand what I'm saying? If you continue to be misguided, how do you expect this person to make the right decision, because the people around them ain't giving them the right choices, the right propositions? They can't make the right choice. You can't make the right choice if Joe Blow telling you to go X, the right thing to do is go left. All you know is X. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, what do you do? So it's just that, I kind of lost track of what I was saying, but at the end of the day, it's about the choices that you make and the decisions that you make that will determine the outcome of who you are. Period.
Yeah. People are loving it. Let me scroll through this. Anybody have any questions for Cody? Any specific questions? Hey, Dr. Sutherland.
Dr. Sutherland, this is actually my first live. I never did one before.
Oh my goodness. I feel like I just pop a lot of live cherries out here in these streets.
I like it though. It's cool.
Cool. Yeah. You're probably like the second person who said, you're the first time I've ever went live with. And I'm like, oh, that is what's up. That's cool. Good.
Super remarkable. I appreciate it, Dr. Sutherland. Dr. Sutherland, man, that's my guy.
In so many ways. Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast out here in these streets. Good stuff. So before we close out, because usually it's about 20 minutes, and it looks like nobody really has any questions. As a male of color, particularly during this time, this highly intense time, obviously we've been dealing with this for decades and even centuries. Can you please provide some words of wisdom for any individual or any male of color out there who is looking to start their wellness journey?
Take the first step. That's the main thing. And when you speak of wellness, the first thing I think of is, mental health, right? But like with, I promote PBSRH, and that's, personal, business, social, relationships, and health. Those are all aspects of life that we got room to grow in, right? We have to grow, personal growth, business growth, school growth, social growth, relationships, and health. We have to grow in those areas in order to be the person that we really know that we can be in order to reach the success level. So just take the first step, all right? And I'm going to speak on just mental health because even as a therapist, I was so against counseling. I ain't even going to lie to you. I was so against counseling. And I know two things. One thing, I had issues all my life. The number two thing is I needed counseling all my life. But see, the thing is, I was in our community would look down on counseling. It's like you're crazy if you receive counseling. You go see a therapist, you're crazy. But it's like if you don't seek counseling, when you know that you need to actually seek counseling, that word crazy, you're going to become that. You understand what I'm saying? And there's so many different ways to lose yourself. Mm-hmm. And in our community, we gotta save ourselves. And in order to save ourselves, we gotta connect certain dots that was never connected before. So we gotta know, why do we lash out at these people? Why do we always get into a depressed mood? Why is our anxiety so high right now? How do we control that? What coping skills do we have? Or can I get coping skills? Growing up, you don't even know nothing about coping skills.
Right.
But you got different communities that send their kids to counseling as soon as they come out the womb. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we got to really take control of our lives and better ourselves, because we got to change the narrative. The narrative was given to us. So we got to change the narrative to make sure that we are the kings and queens that we know that we are. You understand what I'm saying? And it starts in the mental. It's not just, it's not about money. Anybody can make money. It's not about the girls or guys that you have. Anybody can have that. You know what I'm saying? If you're looking for true happiness, it starts within you. And you got to start there. All the outside, things, it don't matter. It don't do nothing for you at the end of the day. Like, what does it do? It didn't make somebody look at you and say, damn, he got a nice car. Or then he got some nice jewelry. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he look nice. After that, what? You know what I'm saying? If your brain ain't right, you know what I'm saying? So my thing is just take life serious on this journey. Like, really, really take it serious and don't half step. Like, when you go in, go all in. Because, I'm going to just leave it there. When you go in, go all in.
Yeah.
When you go in, go all in. Start your wellness journey. Become the best person that you can be for yourself and your family. And once you do that, everybody around you is going to win, including yourself. So, just take that first step. Don't run away from it like I did all these years, because, hell, had I did it 10 years ago, I'd be a lot further along than I am.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much for reflecting on that, because, the communities that we come from, it's just like, oh, you feeling this kind of way? Oh, okay, we're not going to talk about that. Or, oh, auntie, she just crazy. Or,
yeah.
Oh, just pray it away.
Yeah,
just,
see, people looking at it like a weakness, because you're being picked at. Now you feel like it's a weakness. So if you submit and go, try to receive that level of counseling, now you're insecurities, a certain level of anxiety will come about. See, all these things will continue. You know what I'm saying? So not going is a weakness. Actually going is a strength.
Yes, and so I definitely encourage any and everybody. I know I only focused on Black men of color, but I know somebody got me together with just like, and women, yes, sis, and women. Okay, right. Please definitely make sure in whatever space that you're in, and even if it's just a mental health checkup, that's A-okay. And trust me, not only do I do individual counseling, but even from like an assessments perspective, there's so many resources out there on a state level, so please take advantage of it. There's so many clients. I come across so many clients that are not of color whose families immediately send them to a therapist or have no problem with cutting the check. But for us, it's just like, oh, he's just soft, or not wanting to tend to that emotional health or that emotional well-being. It reminds me of the story of Jay-Z. I think Blue Ivy was saying something to him when they were getting in the car, and he got a little agitated and was just like, "Girl, get in the car." And she was quiet in the back seat, and he was just like, "Well, what's wrong?" And she was like, "Daddy, I don't like the way you talk to me." Mind you, Blue is like probably 6 or 7. And in the interview, he was just like, "Wow, I'm truly raising a child who is emotionally intelligent, who is so in tune with her emotions." And he was just like, it made me check myself, because when I was her age, I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about surviving. And so making sure that the next generation and this current generation understands the importance of thriving and not just surviving. And I know it's kind of hard depending on your circumstances, but kind of going through those Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? So once you get your physiological needs taken care of, whether it's like food, shelter, clothing, personal safety, employment, and then you're rising to like your emotional needs and going into the areas of love and belongingness. That's how we rise through that chain of command. That way we can reach self-actualization. Make sure that you're addressing your needs so that you can become the person that you're looking to manifest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's crazy that you mentioned, I know you're trying to wrap up, but every time you talk, because you talk about Jay-Z and Blue Ivy and just the emotional intelligence that they have, and the first thing I thought of was my daughter.
Because you're a father, right? So
man, listen, both of them. I mean, it's just like they first of all, they check me every single day, right? Not only do they check me, but they be right when they be checking me. So it's not like they talking back to me. You know what I'm saying? But it's like they know how to express themselves. When back in the day, you know, and I just use myself as an example because we're talking about my kids. When I felt the way emotionally when I was young, the first thing I want to do is fight. All right, I'm going off. But you got, you know, these young queens that I'm raising, they're sensitive, but they're tough at the same time, and they're very articulate as it relates to their emotions.
mm-hmm.
And it make me feel bad often, like every day. Even if I raise my voice a little bit, you realize, okay, damn, you didn't really need to do that. You know, you didn't really need to raise your voice. Okay, she was right. You did tell her to do X, Y, Z. But whatever the case may be, they're expressing themselves, which allows me to think about it, then correct myself for the next time. And not only are they checking me so I can correct myself, they're checking me so that they can correct themselves when they grow up. So it's about changing the narrative. Like I said, like we have to get used to, like I'm not speaking for everybody, but we're not the most vocal. We're not the most vocal community. We keep a lot of stuff secret. We don't communicate well. We try to hold things in. We think the secret will hide things, but it only comes out later, and that affects people in such a huge way that nobody will never understand, because most people don't do what? Express themselves. Right. So it's just like everything continues to be bottled up, but pressure bursts pipes. And the longer you hold things in and not express yourself, the pipe will burst. And when it bursts, it will burst in an unhealthy way. And you don't want that, because it's going to affect everybody around you. That's your kids, your spouse, your cousin, your boss, your coworker, your employee. Everybody. It's going to affect everybody. Now, you being looked at as crazy simply because you just didn't learn how to express yourself.
Right.
Just talk.
Definitely.
Just talk. So as you can tell, I talk a lot. Because you don't try to wrap up about 5 times, and I'm steady going.
It's okay. We tried to wrap up like several times. It's all good.
I'm done.
It's all good, but I love it. And because when you were talking about it, I was like, dang, man, that is so important. The feedback, right?
Yeah.
That's how we change our environments. We test the waters. We get a little bit of feedback on the person that we're speaking to. Maybe we need to make some necessary adjustments. Maybe we need to stand firm on what we said, because we said what we said sometimes.
Absolutely.
But, Cody.
Yeah.
Cody, let the people know where they can find you and how they can connect to your initiatives.
All right, well, you can find me on all social media platforms at Coty Motivation, COTY Motivation. My website is Coty Martin, COTYMARTIN.com. I will be releasing at Versity University online courses on August 1st. And that's that's amazing. So it's a Adversity University, basically it's the life skill university promoting personal and professional growth and guidance through life skills. So trust me, it's something to look into. So I will be promoting that, and you can look it up on all my social media platforms. You can't find me. So I look forward to seeing y'all and hearing from y'all. And I thank you for having me, Sierra.
No problem. Thank you so much for taking the time out, especially with this month. I know I was trying to get you last month for Men's Health Month, but
I
thank
know,
you for at
right?
least following up. I really do appreciate it. And you
Absolutely.
guys, please make sure, while I have your attention, please make sure to register for the conference that I'm hosting for Minority Mental Health Month. It's Mental Wellness for the Culture Conference, y'all. Okay, if you love what you saw with Cody, imagine what's going to happen during that 2-day weekend. Okay, you're going to have access to amazing, amazing individuals, clinicians of color. Y'all are just going to love it. So thank you, Cody.
Absolutely. Anytime. Anytime.
Bye.